Way back at the very dawn of civilization, the world's first great empires were rising up. And their destinies, well, they were literally woven together with the rivers that gave them life. We're talking about the Indus, the Nile, and the Tigris and Euphrates. Each one was a lifeline for sure, but each one also had its own unique personality, shaping not just the land, but the very soul of the people who lived there. So that gets you thinking, right? How much does our environment actually shape us? Is it just the scenery for the human story? Or is it something more, an active player that has a huge say in our culture, our technology, and maybe even what we believe? All right, let's dive right in. We're going to explore a tale of three legendary river systems: the Indus, the Tigris Euphrates over in Mesopotamia, and of course, the Nile in Egypt. Each one gave birth to an amazing civilization. And as you're about to see, the unique character of each river led to a completely different kind of human story. Now, when I say a river's personality, what do I mean? Well, think of it this way. A river isn't just a big tap for water, right? It has a distinct character. Is it gentle and reliable, or is it violent and totally unpredictable? That behavior, that personality, directly shaped how people lived, what they cared about, and pretty much how they organized their entire world. Okay, first up, let's head to the mysterious Indus Valley civilization. This one is absolutely fascinating because, unlike their neighbors, these people built their whole society on this incredible foundation of harmony with their environment. Just imagine the impact of this. The Indus River was incredibly predictable. It was almost polite. Twice a year, like clockwork, it would flood gently, leaving behind this amazing fertile silt. And because they could count on that, they weren't locked in some constant, desperate fight for survival. Instead, it freed them up to focus on things like order, incredible city planning, and building a truly harmonious society. And you can see the results of that harmony everywhere you look. I mean, we're talking about meticulously planned cities laid out in perfect grids. They developed one of the world's first urban sanitation systems. We're talking covered drains and public reservoirs. Everything was built with standardized bricks, which tells you this was a highly organized, cooperative society that cared more about public health than building giant monuments to kings or waging endless wars. So when you boil it all down, the genius of the Indus Valley people was that they didn't try to beat the river into submission. They understood it. They developed this amazing collaborative relationship with their environment, and that was the secret to their success. Okay, now let's completely switch gears. We're going to travel west to Mesopotamia, the famous land between the rivers, for really dramatic contrast. Because here, the story couldn't be more different. It wasn't about harmony at all. It was about a constant, desperate struggle for control. The Tigris and Euphrates? Yeah, these were not friendly rivers. They were wild, they were violent, and they were completely unpredictable. One year, they might bring life-giving water. The next, a catastrophic flood could just wipe everything away. This constant threat literally shaped the fabric of Mesopotamian society, forcing them to become absolute masters of control. And you can literally see the chain reaction, the dominoes falling one by one. First, you've got this existential threat. So what do? You have to build massive irrigation systems, levees, canals, just to survive. But a job that big, that requires a powerful, centralized government to organize thousands of people. And that, in turn, leads to a strict social hierarchy to manage all that labor and all those resources. Their entire society was basically forged in the fire of necessity. And this struggle didn't just stay in the fields, it seeped into their very soul. For Mesopotamians, life was seen as a constant battle against the chaotic forces of nature. You can see it in their gods, who were often really fearsome and demanding. You can even see it in their greatest innovations, like writing and law codes. These were tools created to bring order to a challenging, conflict-driven world. All right, that was pretty intense. Now for our third and final story. Ancient Egypt. And here, the river wasn't a harmonious partner, and it certainly wasn't a violent enemy. No, it was something else entirely. A predictable, almost godlike gift of pure abundance. I mean, the Nile was the absolute definition of reliable. Its flood was so gentle, so rhythmic, that the Egyptians literally based their entire calendar around it. This predictable gift of rich soil made farming almost easy, which fostered this deep sense of stability, of optimism, and created a society that could afford to think really, really big. Just think about that for a second. What a profoundly different way to see the world. For the Egyptians, life wasn't a struggle. It was this beautiful, predictable, benevolent cycle of abundance, perfectly mirroring the steady, reliable rhythm of their great river.
And because they weren't spending all their time and energy just trying to control the water like in Mesopotamia, Egyptian society could pour its resources somewhere else. Not into massive canal systems, but into monumental architecture. Yep, the pyramids and temples we all know today. This stability fostered a powerful belief in permanence and the afterlife. And of course, their gods, just like their river, were seen as kind, benevolent providers.
Okay, so there you have it. 3 rivers, 3 totally distinct civilizations. Let's pull all these threads together now and see what these ancient stories can really tell us about our own world. It really all comes down to this, doesn't it? The gentle, predictable Indus River gives you a society based on harmony, leading to brilliant innovations like urban sanitation. The violent, chaotic Tigris and Euphrates demand control, creating a strict, hierarchical society that masters mass irrigation. And the rhythmic, reliable Nile, it gifts its people stability and optimism, which they express through awe-inspiring monumentalism. So if there is one big idea to walk away with, it's this. These stories remind us that our environment has never been just a passive stage for the human drama. It is, and it always has been, an active character in our history, shaping our path, our innovations, and who we are. And that leaves us with one last big question that brings it all back to today. The Indus people found harmony, the Mesopotamians thrived through struggle, and the Egyptians prospered from abundance. So as we face our own planet's changes, you have to ask, what lessons can we and should we draw from their ancient solutions?